Hey guys, OK Outdoorsman. I got these rough country e-board steps for the Silverado, and I've never really done a video like this, but I noticed that there weren't really any YouTube videos about the new e-steps other than the one that Rough Country came out with and like a couple reels here and there. They're all about the retract steps. So the new e-steps are pretty much identical to amp steps. I haven't looked into the motors, I've never had amp steps, but it's the same premise. They just come straight down or whatever, they swoop down and then swoop back up. They don't do any of that forward, backward stuff that the retract steps do. They just go straight up and down, and they're supposed to hide the pinch weld. They come with lighting and they come with all this other stuff. So I'm gonna try to document as much as I can. We're gonna be kind of working. We got a couple hours of daylight left, but I'm trying to do this after work. But I'll definitely try to pick out points on mounting and stuff that I know I had questions about when I was watching this stuff, because everybody says the instructions aren't clear. So we'll see. So first thing right off the bat, the wiring harness is, I don't know, I mean, it's pretty good. I like it. I mean, I like these connectors. I like these waterproof style connectors. I mean, I wouldn't dunk them or anything. The lighting connectors look really straightforward. Everything looks really easy to deal with and fairly straightforward. Obviously, you've got your battery, your positive and negative, both sides fused. Everything's labeled right rear. I pulled one of the motors out of the box. I mean, honestly, they look pretty high quality. I mean, it feels like it's cast. It seems to be made out of aluminum. The motor and everything seems a little more sealed than the amp steps looked from the videos that I've seen on them. I could be totally wrong, but at this price point, you know, at $1,300 compared to the amp steps being at $2,000, I'm really happy with the quality. Everything looks like it's gonna do what it's supposed to do. So I got the control box out. The control box looks to be about the same. It's made out of polymer, fairly similar to what you would see, well, it's maybe a little better built. Pretty much the same thing you see on just about every like RGB rock light controller or a wheel light controller, stuff like that. Again, the connections look quality, everything looks good. Supposedly this right here is supposed to mount somewhere up underneath here along the front driver's side bracket. I guess we'll see when we get around to it, but so far so good. I haven't been disappointed in anything yet. So I just pulled one of the steps out of the packaging, and this does come in two separate boxes. That one is shipped separately from this one that comes with the boards themselves in it. They don't charge you. I paid free shipping or whatever it is. Free shipping on all this stuff from Rough Country. But, I mean, this looks to be pretty damn good. I mean, it's extruded aluminum, according to them. It looks like extruded aluminum to me. The finish on it is definitely, I mean, it's non-slip. I mean, it's non-slip enough. I wouldn't see myself slipping off of it. And this is one thing that they don't mention in their videos that I've only seen in other people's YouTube videos. Well, at least the one or two that are around, is they have these sliders for mounting. I'm not sure how good they're gonna work or how good they're gonna stay in place, but I guess we'll figure it out when we get them tightened down and everything. Hopefully they grab. I guess we'll see. This is a big one for me right here, especially compared to some of the other steps that I've seen, is these have a motor in the front and in the back. I know on some steps only the front has a motor and the rear is just it's like an idler bracket. It just kind of does the motion with it. But I don't know, I mean, I'm really impressed so far with the quality for the price point that Rough Country's come up with. A lot of people complain their lift kits are missing hardware and all that kind of stuff, but I haven't seen anything but, I mean, it's definitely not amp steps. They seem like they're quality. All right, so I got the lights out. The lights, again, they look like they're made of about the same material, this plastic material, as what is on the control box, and also the ends on the steps, I believe. I mean, everything looks really straightforward. They're nice enough to give you extra 3M, just in case you screw it up. There's another bag over here. Looks like, oh, nice. They give you zip ties. They give you fuses. Actually, looks like they provide you with all new hardware as well. That's a big plus. As long as they give quality hardware here, which I guess only time will tell, I'm happy with it. Again, door triggers, same plastic as before. Magnets look pretty decent. They've got 3M on them as well, and they give you extra stickies for all this stuff too. The 3M stuff is nice, and I'm glad they give you extra, because usually if you screw up, the company does not send you these, and you got to go hunt down 3M yourself, and it's never fun. Oh, that's nice. So I just got the hardware out. It's pretty standard. I've never seen washers like this before. Maybe I just haven't been working on stuff like this for long enough. These cut washers are new to me. It seems like it could be a little bit of a pain in the ass. I guess it could be worse. Well, we ran into our first snag. Install the supplied e-board step bracket actuators, Ford, Most, whatever, etc., etc., etc. But it's right here, 13 millimeter flat washer, a lock washer, and nut. No idea where the nut is or the lock washer. So let's see what we can do with this. So this right here is exactly what I was talking about earlier. They mount up clean. All the lines look good, but the second you try to get your washer on there and tighten it up, oops, where'd the washer go? And it's because it's slotted. Not a huge fan. Really not a huge fan. Next instructions discrepancy. Use the 13 millimeter hardware. The only hardware that came with the kit. And well, it says definitely not a 13, so we're gonna try 10. So I have one side of the actuators on, and everything I said about those washers was right. If they had just given me a normal washer, that would have taken like a quarter of the time it did. Other than that, I mean, it seemed pretty damn strong. I mean, it's moving the whole truck. Nothing seems like it's flimsy. Everything seems like it's made all right. I'm gonna get the other side on, and then I guess we'll start wiring. And so I never really got to finish my video on the E-steps. I had a friend come over to help me, and things got a little crazy and a little messy, but they are on the truck. It's very hard to see them right now because it's dark, but if I open the door, they come down, they're lighted. I shut them, they go back up. They've been good. They've been on about a week. I haven't had any complaints. I haven't had any problems. Nothing is seized up. Nothing has done anything stupid. We've been totally good the whole time. I'm very happy with them. There's a couple things that I was wrong about originally. One of which is that the control box is actually on the passenger side. To run the power wires, you got to kind of come up the firewall and then come up and then up into the battery. But other than that, everything's great. I'll get this side. One thing about the door triggers, this whole thing has to come off. All up here, this whole pillar, the lower pillar, you can't pull just the lower pillar because it overlaps by about that much. So there's 2 bolts in the back, and then you have to pretty much pull all this through here, all the plastics. We had to tear the carpet out to run the wires to the body plug and all that kind of stuff. So that was fun, but I've done that before to do the rock lights. I'll turn the rock lights on. So maybe I'll do an overview video with the rock lights. I am very happy with everything. I love the lighting function. It's great. They haven't seized up or anything. They just work. Honestly, I don't really have any complaints about them. Everything's been fine. Everything's been clean. They've held up. I drove them through a monsoon. I drove them through 8 or 10 inches of flooding, and I haven't had any problems. None of the lighting, none of the zip ties are broken that Rough Country provided, which is great. Seemed that they gave some quality zip ties. There can be cheap zip ties, I promise. All the hardware, nothing's come loose. Everything stayed tight. I'd probably tighten them up after the first week. Everything seems great. One more thing I would like to go over that I had to pull the flashlight out for, this guy right here. Valet switch. That's a big one for me. Valet switch, you flip it to off, the boards will come up and stay up. You put it to on, they'll function as normal. Because nothing is worse than when your truck gets really, really close to some rocks and you open the door and your steps want to come down. So, turn my light off. I can understand why Rough Country did this function. I hid mine up underneath the dash because I'm going to use it minimally. You will probably need it at some point if you really use your truck. I'll use it at some point. Other than that, I think they're great. I missed a little bit on install, but it's really straightforward. Once you get the motors on, the wiring is literally just plug and play. Everything is labeled. Everything's fine. I mean, it's really straightforward. Nuts did end up being mounted on the truck. They're welded into the frame or into the body. The lock washers it never came with, I torqued them down pretty good. I don't think they're coming off. And the boards themselves haven't bent. They haven't done anything stupid. They're staying in place. I used like a Milwaukee M12, just a little hex impact to torque them down, and everything seems good. But other than that, like, subscribe, catch fish, and apparently work on trucks, because that's what we do now.